Good evening. How is everybody? Transparency time this Friday. I put it out on Facebook as I shared that this is Friday's Hope Night. Transparency time. Find out what I discovered about me and how it can help you. Hi, this is Friday's Hope, where we share hope for Friday and every day for everyone, everywhere. So here's my story. I have what's called an ileostomy. It's like a colostomy. I've had it since I was 12. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis age 10, 2 years of medication and hospitalization, and the ulcerative colitis just continued to get worse. Now it's just a part of me. That's who I am. I survived my teenage years. I got married. I birthed 3 children. I had 4. I raised 4. I have an associate's degree in early education, early elementary education. I've taught in many ministries. I helped my kids in their children in the classes when they were little. I was part of moms groups. I volunteered everywhere. I've worked. Most of my life I've worked. I've just lived life. And I continue to live life, but I've run into a little problem here. For whatever reason, the last year, my skin underneath my pouching system has started to get sore and raw. In fact, it looks a little bit like raw hamburger some days. And it's always moist from seepage, so I can't keep my pouching system on. You ever try and put a Band-Aid on wet skin? That's what this is like. Doesn't work real well. Each time I changed it, it irritated my skin even worse. Now, I've reached out. Like I told you all, I reached out. First of all, I reached out to my prayer team, my prayer group, to ask them to pray about it so we could figure out what was going on. Then I reached out to doctors. Several different doctors, my primary, dermatology, wound center, and even doctors who are specialists in ostomies. And this has gone on for about a year. Now, the good news is we've discovered what the problem is, and my skin is healing. Thank you, Jesus. And I can live life to the fullest. Here's where the mental health issue comes in. Last Sunday, our pastor spoke on Matthew 22:37 through 39 that says, Jesus said to them, Thou shalt love thy Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind. This is the first commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love your neighbor as yourself. And what he emphasized from that passage is that we can only love others as we love God and we love ourselves. As much as we love God and we love ourselves, we can only love others that much. So if I'm here with myself and God, guess how much I'm going to love you guys? No farther. So, and if you want to see that message, you can go to the Worship Center, Dixon, Illinois on Facebook, and you can watch Sunday's message on there. Anyway, the message got to me because I don't know how to love myself. I don't. I have been a caregiver and taken care of people for over 70 years. I've been professionally taking care of people for over 70 years. I have no idea how to take care of me. I'm the doer. I'm the fixer. I'm the one who sees a problem and I go out and fix it. That's just who I am. Been that way for a long time. So when I asked God, I said, how do I love myself? I have no idea how to do this. And I felt this strong inclination to sit down. I was at the church. I was by myself. I was closing up, turning off equipment, etc., etc. And I felt the strong urge to just sit down. Sit down. Okay, so I did, just in a random pew. And I enjoyed the peace that's in our church. I enjoyed what it looked like outside. Here in Northern Illinois, it was a beautiful day. Good evening, Pastor Paulette. Good to see you. So it was a beautiful day. I enjoyed watching the, red leaves blow and the sun and the beautiful blue sky. And that was just a wonderful thing. Then this week I took a day off of both my jobs. Yes, I have 2 jobs. I care for the elderly in their homes, and I work at our church office as well. And then, you know what I discovered? One way to love myself? Rest. Just rest. If it means I don't take care of anybody, if it means I don't take care of the issues, if it means I don't do, just rest. Just let it go. Now, that may not be a real big revelation to y'all, but it was huge to me. I've always taken naps because I get tired. Hello. I've always rested in the evening because this is what I did. I worked all day, got home, made supper when kids were home and I had a family, made dinner, and then we all sat down and watched TV and became couch vegetables, sofa vegetables. But this was different. This nap took a turn in the fact that not only did I sleep when I was tired, but if I woke up and I was still tired, I went to sleep again. I just slept. And I realized some of my weariness was coming from the fact that skin issue was constantly in the back of my mind. With an ileostomy, you have to wear a pouch all the time. If it comes loose, you have a mess. So I was constantly on guard, constantly thinking and praying about what I can do to make it better. It was always in the back of my mind. I was carrying this huge issue with me everywhere. Yes, I prayed. Yes, I asked those to pray. Yes, I gave it to God, but it was still in the back of my mind that started to wear me out mentally and physically and spiritually. See, I needed to understand at a deeper level, like I teach all you, that even if the worst case scenario happens with my ileostomy, God's going to get me through and help me through. I've had this thing since 1965, and now it's 2024, so I've taken care of this all my life. And God's done an amazing job in helping me take care of it. But I still had another layer. Hear this. I still had another layer of caring for this to give to God. How many levels and layers of our struggles do we have? How many times do we give those things to God and we give those things to God, but we still have something else that's maybe in the back of your head? Or maybe you think about it a little bit too often. I saw a post that said, pray about it as much as you think about it. That hit me. That hit me hard because I think a lot. So now I'm trying to pray about it as much as I think about it. But have you dealt with all the layers? Do you know there's other layers in there? Our mental struggles are much like an onion. There are a lot of YouTube, Pastor Paulette. Yeah, I know that's right. There are a lot of layers of skin on an onion, and there are a lot of layers sometimes to our mental health issues. So I want to encourage you today to check out the layers. Maybe something you've dealt with all your life, and you've dealt with it well, but check it out. Check it out and make sure all the layers are taken care of with that. Keep a check on your physical status. I was tired, and I slept off and on all day long, and I never do that unless I am really sick. And then I don't do it because I don't like being in bed sleeping. Just makes me feel like I'm lazy, which is silly. I know I'm not. I know rest is important, but I've never done that. I've just rested. I did go out once, run to Walmart, get some things I needed medically, then I came back home. Your physical status, many times, here's my biggest revelation I want to share with you, will point you back to your mental struggles. Let me share that again. Your physical status, your physical abilities, will many times point you back to your mental struggles. Hello. What do people do when they're deeply depressed? They want to stay in bed. They don't want to get up. They just want to sleep. I got a feeling of that the other day. I got the hiccups. I didn't want to sleep at all. I didn't want to get up at all. I was real comfy in that bed for a very long time. So it's just watch your physical. Watch your physical. And if you're tired, if you're having a bad day, you're feeling really tired, get some rest and be okay about it. I don't rest well. Guess what I'm learning? To love myself by resting. And just take a mental health day. Give your body, mind, heart, and spirit the day off and just rest. Just rest. I was thinking about Jezebel in the book of 1 Kings 19. Jezebel came to mind. Actually, Elijah came to mind, but Jezebel is involved in this story. Let me read it to you and go through what I saw as I read it. 1 Kings 19, 1 through 10, and verse 18. And this is in the New King James. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and also how he had executed all the prophets with the sword. Now these were her prophets, not good prophets. Jezebel married this king and got into a position that gave her rule over the kingdom. How many years had how many years had Elijah been dealing with Jezebel? It takes a while to get there. They get married. They get a relationship. She wormed her way into leadership. That took a little while. Elijah's been dealing with this chick for a while, okay? So Jezebel married the king and got into a position that gave her rule over the kingdom. How many years has has Elijah been dealing with Jezebel? Verse 2. Then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah and saying, so let God's do to me, and more so, if I do make your life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. In other words, what she was saying, she's going to kill Elijah. Like all the prophets that were killed, her prophets. She was planning on killing him, and that was pretty plain to Elijah that she was after him. Now, I'm sure she had been after him before. She'd never been one to be all happy and sweet creams and peaches with anybody of God, and she sure didn't want anything to do with him because she knew he was speaking the truth. So I'm sure he was threatened before. Verse 3, and when he saw that, he arose and ran for his life, went to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah, and left his servant there. In his fear and depression, he ran, and he left one of the very people that were helping him and went on without him. How many times do we isolate ourselves from the very friends that can help us through a difficult time? He did. He left the servant there. You stay here, I'm going to take off. Verse 4, but he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down underneath the broom tree, and he prayed that he might die and say, it's enough. Now, Lord, take my life, for I'm no better than my father's. That's a whole lesson in itself. But how many times we felt like that? That's enough, God. I'm tired of this. That's enough. You don't think the Bible is relevant to today's world? This guy was depressed and he was wanting to die. Same thing we're seeing happening today in 2024. Perfect example of an account of a man who was well versed in the scriptures, walked a long time with God as a prophet. He had a lot of people around him that walked with him, yet here he is depressed and ready to die. Happened then, happens now. Because Jezebel was threatening his life. Verse 5, then he lay and slept under a broom tree. Suddenly an angel touched him and said to him, arise and eat. Then he looked there and saw there was a cake baked on coals and a jar of water. So he ate and drank and lay down again. He was weary. He was tired of fighting this girl. He was tired of fighting everybody in there that was worshiping Baal. He was laid down again. He said, forget it. I'm done. That's it. And the angel of the Lord came back the second time, touched him, and said, arise, eat, because the journey is too great for you. So he arose and ate and drank, and he went in the strength of the food for 40 days and 40 nights as far as Horeb, the mountain of God. Now, I'm going to sound like your mama here for a minute, but make sure you're eating healthy. Part of the journey in life and with this ileostomy, part of the problem that's been a solution is I changed my diet. Not that I wasn't eating unhealthy, but I needed to add some things. So I'm drinking a probiotic drink every morning for my gut, and that really has helped. Ulcerative colitis is an autoimmune disease, and while I don't have ulcerative colitis anymore, it's part of my DNA, so I started taking extra D vitamin. It says the D vitamins, I take a D3. D vitamins help settle down the flare-ups of an autoimmune disease. Check your diet. Don't overrun your energy. It talked about how he ran for 40 days on the food that was given him. Eat enough food and eat right that'll keep up with your energy. I didn't do that for a lot of years. I do now. Make sure you have enough food and the right kind of food to help you live life well. Okay, Mom, lecture over. And I felt like when I wrote that, I thought, are my kids in the room? Am I talking to them? No, it's just the mom coming out. Eat so your life is healthy. Verse 9, and there he went into a cave and spent the night in that place. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him and said, what are you doing here, Elijah? I could just hear God saying, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? He already knew what he was doing there, but that's not the point. I can just hear him, what are you doing here? So he said, look, this is my version, God. I've been extremely zealous for the Lord God of hosts and for the children of Israel. But they've forsaken, for the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, torn down. Hi, Diane. Torn down your altars and killed your prophets with the sword alone. I alone am left. They seek to take my life. So here he is, feeling like he hasn't gotten any, what's the word I want? He hasn't taken, now I'm talking to the hard-headed ones. Well, you know, the message comes to the messenger first, right, Pastor Paulette? Anyway, so Elijah's feeling like he hasn't gotten any recognition for what he's doing. He's been zealous. He hasn't felt like he's gotten rewarded, and he feels like everybody's lost him. We've all been there. I know we've all been there. Come on. We've all been there. Mothers who are raising kids that are being little snots. A job that you're doing over abundantly and you're not hearing a word from anybody about how good you're doing. And things like that. You're devoted to the job. You're devoted to the kids. You're devoted to whatever. You're doing the best you can, but maybe, just maybe, not a soul saying everything. And then, after you've done everything for everybody, oh, look, everybody's leaving. And they're not even following what you've taught them. Yeah. So Elijah felt like he's done everything he's supposed to do, but that the children of Israel forsake God, tore down the altars, killed the prophets anyway, and Elijah felt like everyone had left him and people wanted to kill him. Can we say depressed? Can we say depressed, feeling very alone, feeling like he wasn't being recognized for his faithfulness and his accomplishments? I know we've all done that. We've all been there. But yet he got out of hand. Yet this got out of hand for Elijah. He got into a deep depression. I want to assure you, people, you are never alone. Never. God's always there with you. When people pray, God be with us, God is with us, always. If he's not with us, my heart isn't beating and I'm not breathing. He's always with us. He's always there. He's always going to help you. And there's always people you can reach out to for help. Always. Always. Hit the comment line if you ever need help. Hit Friday's Hope Messenger if you ever need help. If I can't help you, I will hook you up with people who can. Don't let your mind think all those things that Elijah thought. I didn't get any recognition. Everybody's doing the opposite of what they're supposed to be doing. Everybody's gone and leaving me. Don't go there. None of that is true. I don't care. People are watching. People know what you were doing, know what the good you're doing. I had that experience before. Years ago, we lived out in Las Cruces, and there was a young lady that would come to our house for Bible study, and she loved Jesus. But her husband struggled with alcoholism, and he didn't want anything to do with the church. No, not ever. You're right, Pastor Paulette. He didn't want anything to do with the church, and he kind of tolerated us. Then my husband then decided to go to New Mexico State University, so we lived on campus. We moved to campus, and he's there walking around and everything, and this guy hadn't seen us forever. And he knew we went to a church. He knew that we studied the Bible. He knew we were Christians, but didn't want anything of it. You know the first thing he asked my husband after he said hello? Are you still going to church? He was watching. And that was the biggest lesson in my life, that people are still watching. People are still watching. Doesn't matter if you don't get the accolades and the recognition. People are still. I had an amazing conversation with a young man today about this ministry and all that he's getting out of it. And he's not a born-again believer. And he's sharing it with others. What a blessing. What a blessing. I don't know if he's a born-again believer. He might be. I really don't know that. But what a blessing that he's getting. One of the people that come to the facility I was at earlier mentioned to him that I've helped her. Have no idea that happened. What a blessing. People are watching, guys. They're watching how we love. They're watching how we love Jesus, how we love each other, and how we love ourselves. Isn't that something? If I say I'm a born-again believer, but I go outside the home and I look terrible, that may not resonate really well. Not that I have to dress up all the time. Good grief. That will never happen. But you know, people are watching. Okay, she says she's a believer in Jesus. There's some, ridicule going on. There's some judgments going on in people's minds. That's okay. We'll love them too. Jesus does. We'll love them too. So don't go there. What Elijah thought came from pure lies from the pit of hell. That is not true. You are loved. You do have people around you. You are being noticed. You are doing what God's called you to do. Verse 18. This verse just blew me away when I first read it. Verse 18. So Elijah is complaining to God all this time, okay? Verse 18. Yet, this is God speaking. Yet I have reserved 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed to Baal, and every mouth that has not kissed him. God had set aside 7,000 people who have not deserted God or Elijah, who had the same passion Elijah had. God was working on the background all this time for his perfect plan and purpose to proceed forward. God's there. He's working all the time on your behalf. So I want to encourage you today to see God in your life, even if you feel alone or hopeless and helpless. And I know there's a lot of people that feel that way. Look at the storms. Look at the wars. Look at all the things that are happening. But God is working in the background for you because he loves you. Look, if you're struggling like Elijah did or like I did last week, it's time to do something. Get some rest, some genuine rest. Change your diet up if you need to, and reach out to somebody. And God is most interested in your mental health and will help you with it. Whether it be a few days or you've struggled for a long time, he's there. If you struggled for a long time, please reach out and be honest with other people that you need help and what kind of help you needed. Please, you are valuable to us. We need you in our lives. Yes, I know reaching out is hard. I am probably the number one person. Oh, I don't want to bother him. But your family and you are worth the risk of reaching out to get help, to obtain a new way of thinking. And if the first or second person that you reach out to isn't working, keep reaching. There's more out there. There's a slew of people out there. And I want to encourage you to don't sit there every day, day after day, in that mire and mess. Don't get distracted by life and all you have to do. That's how mental health continues to get worse. Sometimes by letting it go instead of taking care of it. Keep reaching until you find the people that will help you move forward. They're a good fit for you. Just because one place or one person doesn't work doesn't mean it's hopeless. There are people out there just for you that God's designed for you and given to you to become whole, healed, and delivered. You deserve to have help. God wants you healthy. Don't sit there any longer in that mess. Do what it takes to get through this situation in a healthy life with Jesus, even if it's nothing more than picking up that phone that I know you got in your hand and calling the 988 suicide helpline. They'll direct you. They will. They're really good. I've seen them in action. I haven't had to call them, but I've seen them in action. They are trained well, and they do a good job. Psalm 73:26, the psalmist says, my health may fail. Hello. My spirit may grow weak. Oh, yeah. But God remains the strength of my heart, and he is mine forever. Reach out, please. Be honest with the people that you need help, and tell people what type of help you need. Call the 988 suicide helpline. They are there to help you. They'll walk you through this. Yes, I know I'm repeating myself. Yes, I know I repeat it almost every week. But if it gets through to one person, I will repeat it until I cannot talk anymore. Choose a trusted friend you know who loves Jesus. Reach out to God for help and a trusted friend. And choose one that won't spread gossip about your situation. God uses people to help. Call your hospital. Call your clinic. Call your doctor. Call the Y. Call the police. Call the fire department. Call somebody. Call your mental health clinic. There are a ton of people out there that are willing to help, but be honest with them about what you need. There are so many places God has given us to get help, and all you have to do is reach out. Just pick up that phone, turn it towards you, 988. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. All you have to do is reach out, please. Hey, George, good seeing you. Please, you are a valuable person, and we need you in our lives. If you feel this video has helped you or someone else, would you please share it? Please let us know if and how we've helped. Leave a message in the comment box or email fridayshope3@gmail.com. You can watch this and other videos on the YouTube channel, also called Friday's Hope. I have to load this one up yet. Also, if you haven't already, hit follow on Friday's Hope page so I'm able to go live on that page. I thank you for your prayers and for listening. I pray God richly bless you and heal your hurting heart, body, mind, and soul. God bless you.